Welcome to Beerotica's return to Andy's channel. Today we'll be performing a autopsy on Supergirl 2026, this year's biggest box office hit. Cause of death? Wokeness. However, wokeness is like science. It's black and white, and the answer really depends on how you look at it. Spoiler warning for Supergirl, but not really, because let's be honest, you weren't gonna watch it anyway. Maybe you should watch something more masculine, like Fight Club, and the one with the two cowboys, what's it called? Brokeback Mountain? Yeah. Watch that instead, that sounds hard. Now the first stage of wokeness where we could have intercepted and prevented the tragic fate of this movie is females. Beerotica could have told you that from the moment this was announced that Supergirl was going to bomb. Let's start with the lead, Millie Alcock. She's apparently Australian, and if you didn't already know, Australians come from a very long line of criminals and convicts, and the crime she committed today was stealing my heart. I mean, making me pay for a ticket for this movie. Let's just put this out here, me and the anti-woke bros, we finally have a new face to put on our YouTube thumbnails, because Brie Larson and Rachel Zegler, they're all news. Dominic Thorne, more like Dominic Board. Boom! Beerotica got him. So Millie Alcock, we make fun of her because she's ugly. Is this? Are we talking about the same person? I mean, yeah, she's so ugly. I mean, like someone like me, I could easily date someone like her. Like she definitely wouldn't reject me, and like she's definitely not out of my league, you know? Anyway, not only is our hero a female, but our secondary hero is also a female named Ruth, I don't know, it sounded Chinese. Speaking of Chinese, thank God the actress isn't full Chinese, because that would have pissed me off. Apparently she's half Filipino, as if we needed another one of those in Hollywood. In case you don't know, Filipino is like a Mexican Chinese. The one thing Hollywood gets right though is the commitment to sticking with non-full ethnics. They just create the illusion of wokeness while sticking with the power of white. Now explain this to me. The main what's the word? Like the main character propagandist. The main propagandist of this movie is a female. The second propagandist is also a female. But the bad guy? A white male. And of course, they gotta douse him with tons of makeup to the point where his skin is unrecognizable. I am sick of Hollywood telling me that Caucasian skin is terrible. I am proud of my skin from my toes to my head. Therefore, I will be coining the term skinhead to represent this cause. Don't even ask me why they went for this creme design. I guess you could say that they really crumbled under the pressure. Boom, Beerotica got him. But seriously, you compare this design to what he was meant to look like, a handsome, ripped, devilish hunk. And you would assume like Hollywood's gay or something. And of course, the wokies are gonna blame the men for ruining this film. Well, guess what? I know more men who have seen this film than women. Because I don't know any women, but that's besides the point. How is it that 59% of the people who went to go watch this movie was male? They must have been all like LGBTQIA+ or something. Not including me, obviously. We also have to bring up something else that Holly woke actually gets right with this movie. Supergirl joins the ranks of Shang-Chi, Sam Wilson, Captain Marvel, Black Widow, and Shuri to not get a romantic subplot in their superhero solo movie. Wah wah, should have been a white male instead. The second stage of wokeness that infected this movie. The DC woke. It's no surprise that James Gunn, a guy who makes films about not being able to control your woman, produced a film about no one controlling a woman. This movie is like Guardians of the Galaxy if it didn't have any white people. And what I mean by that is Guardians of the Galaxy, but worse. Cool, Star-Lord had a Walkman, so I guess Supergirl needs an iPod. First of all, don't give her an iPod and don't give her a Walkman. Give her a walk girl. A walk girl for a woke girl. Boom, Beerotica got him. Second, anyone who uses an iPod Nano in 2026 is more performative than a woman's comment on another woman's Instagram post. What are you gonna do next? Give Supergirl a marcher? Make her read Normal People by Sally Rooney? It still boggles my mind that he went into writing after retiring from soccer. The next thing wrong with the DC woke is trying to emulate James Gunn's style and dodgy humor with everything. The only time I laughed during this movie was when Ruthie's brother ran into the hallway to get shot in the chest. But now you want to keep the laughs going, and now you're telling me that you want to get a comedic actor for Gorilla Grodd? So Gorilla Grodd's funny now? Oh my god, when does the wokeness end? I bet next you're gonna make him gay or something. Gorilla gay. Breaking news, in the Jimmy Olsen show, Jimmy Olsen has sex with Gorilla Grodd. That actually sounds pretty hard. I mean, me and the anti-woke bros, we are definitely like not into that kind of thing, like at all. Hopefully they don't do that. Hopefully like they don't do that for real. Everyone's complaining about DC Studios prioritizing the wrong projects, like the Bane and Deathstroke movie. I don't know about you, but nothing sounds like a better recipe for success than making a film about two masculine killers before prioritizing their own hero. Now you might be thinking, James Gunn didn't even direct this film. He didn't get to control anything that happened in this movie. Well, I disagree. It's like how just because you're the president of the United States doesn't mean you control the United States. But I digress. This movie was directed by Australian Greg Gillespie. I don't know what's up with all the Australians involved in this project, but all its upside down ways are starting to make sense to me. Everyone's always begging for Robin to appear in a film, but we already got Gillespie Robin, the opportunity for female storytellers in Hollywood. Boom! Beerotica got him. Kidding, obviously. We all know that if this was directed by a female director, they would have added something like color. Ew. Now the third stage of wokeness. At this point, it's too late. This film's fate was already sealed. The source material. Every nerd's first train of thought is to compare it to the book by Tom King, but not me though, because I can't read. But Tom King, he's a very polarizing figure. Some people like him because of his stories, some people don't like him because of his stories. I like him because he was part of the CIA, which means he like shot guns and stuff. And that's cool. By this movie being about Supergirl, it was already at risk being about horses and dresses and princesses and whatever girls talk about. So imagine my surprise when Supergirl kills Krem. The wokeness of a woman killing a man aside, let's address the fact that the writer Anna Noguera misread the comic's ending, saying that Ruthie kills Krem and so they had to craft a villain evil enough to justify that ending. It seems like these people had their woke goggles on so fucking tight that they couldn't help but hallucinate an ending where the white man gets humiliated. Seeing as how James Gunn also approved this ending gives me hope for the future. A future so woke where the entire DCU team cannot read just like Beerotica. Now let's be clear, someone like Movie Krem who has a past involved with trafficking young girls, some may say that he deserved what he got. Me personally, Beerotica's voting for him next election. Now the next point, some people are upset that this movie keeps being compared to its book, saying that no other superhero movie has had this level of comparison before. Wow, listen, this is straight from the book of Beerotica. Thou shalt not market a movie around a woke book if the movie is not equally as woke. This movie has Lobo, which the book does not have, and Lobo is a personal hero of mine. One day I also want to be chained up, strapped in leather while having a stick in my mouth. But having Lobo in this film is the dose of masculinity that this film needed, because all Super Woke does is bumble about and admit that he needed Supergirl's help? Now we know we're watching a science fiction movie. So this is a question from Beerotica. Why didn't we get a scene of Lobo beating up Supergirl? Lobo goes toe-to-toe with Superman. Lobo is in a movie with Supergirl. Supergirl needs to be humbled because she's a female. Where was my fight scene? Anyway, if you ask me, they did a good job of ditching the source material because reading's lame and no one was gonna read Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. Even the title doesn't make any sense. Is she a girl or is she a woman? Why tomorrow? Why not today? Or, preferably, why not never? Now we also have to address Craig Gillespie's relationship with the book. That relationship being very similar to me and my dad's. Only existent after all the hard work is done. There have been claims that Gillespie never read the book while making this film, and I'm gonna have to step in here and do the brave thing and defend the straight white man. He did read the book, just after deciding that these worlds should feel like poverty and crime and dust and the texture. Basically any country that's not America. This was a great move. We don't need that color shit everywhere. Just because this was released in Pride Month doesn't mean we need rainbows. Oh, but the book had horses. Well, good for you, because listen, superhero movies are for men. Men do not like horses. Masculine men like me and the anti-woke brigade, the only thing we want to see on screen is other men. Now, before this movie was put to its grave, there was actually another stage, an accelerator, if you will. It was the needle drops. Now, Beerotica has a fantastic taste in music, favorites ranging from Kid Rock to Kid Rock. So to see the frenzy from the internet concerning a certain needle drop in this movie is not surprising at all. In the final fight sequence, we have a needle drop of a female cover of The Middle by Jimmy Eat World. More like Jimmy Eat Woke. Boom, Beerotica got him. Anyway, once again, this is a classic case of Hollywood replacing a male with a female. Apparently they had around 45 song options for that bit, and Gillespie said, and I quote, "And it was down to the very last week, and I gotta give James Gunn credit for that one." Saying this to a publication, unintentionally throwing your boss under the bus, is like if I talk to a woman. Say goodbye to our jobs. The thing I don't understand about this movie is why did it have to have that Guardians of the Wokelixy flavor? Well, we can't have some fucking Tom McDonald? What's going on here?
We put the us in the USA.
Let me recall another passage from the book of Beerotica. Thou shalt not spam a song thou in thou marketing thou and not use in thou final movie. Thou. Not that Call Me would have made any sense either. Kara is Gen Z. She should have been listening to Sabrina Carpenter or something. Why the fuck is she linked up with some boomer tunes? Any music that wasn't made in the time I was alive is either terrible or woke. Both of them mean the same thing to me. And the very concept of the Call Me song by Blondie is pretty ridiculous. Like, what do you mean a woman is asking a guy to call her on a phone? Like as if like she actually wants him. Like, that is so unrealistic. Like, I'm telling you, as a very masculine man, that never happens. A woman will never ask a guy to call her or like want her in like any way. Like, that just doesn't happen. That's so unrealistic. Now, the final stage of wokeness that killed Supergirl. Beerotica and the anti-woke brigade. We called it, did we not? Sure, we said 100 other movies were gonna bomb for being woke and they didn't, but still, this movie bombed because it was woke. It was all us. I mean, come on, a woman having a central role in a movie? Destined for failure. It's not because of the storytelling or the lackluster marketing or being released between two mega family-friendly franchises. No, it was because there was a hot woman. I mean, an ugly woman, because she's so ugly, right? Me and the anti-woke bros, we all think she's so ugly. Yeah. Now, if you don't believe it was us that single-handedly tanked this movie down, go check Woketer, aka Reddit. I love it when people blame us for a movie bombing because it was us. We did it. We're just that powerful. Sure, most of us don't go outside, don't have any friends, and want to kill ourselves, but doesn't mean we can't start a revolution. The Beerotica Supergirl autopsy complete. Cause of death, wokeness. Death could have been prevented by A. Not having females. B. Not being part of the DC woke. C. Ignoring the source material. D. Play Tom McDonald. And E. You can't do anything to stop E. Beerotica and the anti-woke brigade. Here's the lesson you should leave with. Do not underestimate all the lonely men in the world who can spam comments and bring a movie like this down, because this was all us, and we have all the time in the world. Now, this is actually the second time Andy has invited me on to speak my truth on this channel. Last time I talked about how woke the MCU has become since Endgame, so check that out if you haven't already. And I guess Andy will see you next week. Will I ever return? Who knows? Maybe Gen Z will cancel me because I'm so edgy, right? Just cancel me already. Oh my god, I'm so out there. I'm so honest. Just cancel me. I bet you won't cancel me. Gen Z, you gonna cancel me? Cancel me. Cancel me. I need something going on in my life because my life is depressing.
And 1-5 in the open night, I can't help that I feel so lonely. How many times do I have